This is the penitentiary department in Buea, with the central prison, which has a lot of its history in the archives of former West Cameroon. Research into the archives would tell of a football team, Prisons Buea, run by the department in the 60s and the 70s. The team was founded by pioneer director of prisons, Mr. Titang Richard. He lived in this house, which is today dilapidated. Most players were recruited here. Mr. Titang Richard recalls the story of the creation of Prisons Buea.
I recruited the warders who were playing for the team. And so when Cameroon Bank players came, they joined them, and then we then made a formidable team. There was a President General, whom I was, the founding father. And thereafter you had the team captain, the supporters, and the coaches. Atana Otto was transferred to Buea to work in finance, and he decided to play for Power Camp in Limbe. So I called him up and said, Otto, you are staying in Buea and playing in Victoria. Why do you do that? He said, because Power Camp had paid him his Sonel bills. So I said, okay, you come, I'll pay your Sonel bill for 1 year. So he decided to come. And then he had Monkam, who was also there. So Monkam came, and any other person whom he brought at any time who was a player, I recruited. Training fees at that time was free. The players were given 2 shillings bonus during practice matches, during practice. And when they won a match, they were given 2,000 francs. When it was a draw, it was 1,000 francs. There was no money paid for any of them to sign in. Everything was all free. Everything was free. Prisons was a team, a department. So we used the prison vehicles to transport the players from one place to another, and that was what happened. If they're going to play in Yaounde, they travel in a prison vehicle. If they're going to Tico, they travel in a prison vehicle. If they're going anywhere, they travel in a prison vehicle. Until later on, when there was difficulty in getting transport and petrol and so on, then we started hiring vehicles. We did at one time hire Munanga's vehicles, and then at one time when there was no money to hire any vehicles, they used my car. Initially it was Raymond Fobete, who was the regional inspector for Southwest and Northwest. Later on we had Mr. Wonjia. Finally it was Atangana, who himself became the coach of the team. In 1968, when Prisons played the finals of Cameroon Cup, they were playing against Oryx, which was the national team. They had just won the first edition of the African Cup in Ghana, and then they were coming to play against Prisons, which was a relatively unknown team. Nobody knew about Prisons. They didn't know whether these were prisoners or warders or who were there. Unfortunately, Atana had been training them. And so when they came to play the finals, this was the time they would have won the cup, but because of foul play, bad refereeing, and in actual fact, I remember the referee was called Mangamu. He was a youth and sports inspector, and he was banned never to referee a match in Cameroon for life.
Could you remember some of your players who were called up for the camp or maybe featured in the national team?
I do remember quite a good number of them. There's one match they played in Lagos. At that time, there were 9 Prisons players in the team. And then they drew in Lagos. When they came back to in Cameroon, there was not one prison player who played, and they were beaten in Douala 4-0. It was then that Bapelepe missed a penalty, and that was the end of his football career. Brice was a cook for the regional inspector, Jean-Claude Ngo, and he was supposed to be the jazz man for the team. But eventually, I tried in the end to push out that idea of using a jazz man by having them train twice every day, in the morning, twice in the morning, and twice in the evening, and that I was going to be the jazz man myself. When they did this, the amount of money which was being used for the jazz, 100,000, 200,000 francs every match, I kept them until at the end of about few matches, we had more than 1 million. So I now brought the money out and said, this was the jazz that I was using. And what was the jazz? Was a double training for you people.
Prisons Buea sent soccer waves rippling across the nation when it played in Division 1 from 1968 to 1978, as David Evele Mbua reports.
Prisons Buea, one of the outstanding teams west of the Mongo in the 60s, was created in 1967 from defunct Red Devils, Cambank and P&T Social Club, all of Buea. Prisons, which was run as a departmental team by pioneer director of prisons, Mr. Titang Richard, brought together top players from the national territory, while former West Cameroon provided such names as Esunge, Azong, Ewunkem, Nango, Defi 404, Njuma, Musenge, Nche, Tanga, to name a few. Striking players as Atangana Otu, Njipe, Didi, Kinito, Mbongo, Esomba, Munkam, Bel Antoine, Mbela, and others were drafted from former East Cameroon, playing the Cup of Cameroon finals in 1968 against Oryx, with former head of state Amadou Aijo presiding. Prisons lost 1-2 to Oryx. The Buea team provided players for the national squad: Atangana Otu, Defi 404, Munkam, Mbongo, Ewunkem. In fact, 8 players of Prisons were selected for the national team in the late 60s for encounters against Zambia and Nigeria for World Cup preliminaries. Ewunkem Joseph was outstanding nationwide for his hard tackles and thunderous shots. Prisons Buea in 1974 missed the championship title by a hair's breadth, landing in the second position. The team was reputable for its peculiar defense tactics, popularly referred to as defense and lean. It was a team to reckon with because it always brought down league giants. For example, an unprecedented 7-0 pounding of Tonnerre Yaounde in the early 70s and a consistent 3-1 defeat of the great Canon Yaounde. This dominance over Canon caused ace strikers Manga Ongene and Ayo to defect to Prisons for a brief period. Prisons Buea was known to hardly lose a match at home. However, with the diminishing support from the Prisons department, the team systematically lost steam and steadily declined to Division 2 in the late 70s. Since then, Prisons has had some stints at the National Interpol competition in an effort to bounce back to the elite championship, to no avail.